paper that you have in front of you kind of outlines the process that you're going to be using or that good readers use when they're looking at maps. So it just says write a summary sentence. So over here it says before reading. It says first read the page title. So those page titles are in italics at the top, which you can see right here. Then we also have preview the text features. Look at the whole map and look at what kinds of features does it have. You see the map, you might see a caption, you might see a key or a legend, you might see bolded words. So after you've previewed the text features, the next part is to start reading them. So you're going to gather information about the main idea. So check out what is the map title, what is the map title, what does the map legend or key say. So for example, all these parts here, there's different meanings: regional division, colonial boundary, indefinite boundary. You're going to have to look at the map then and see what do those things mean. Take a look at the caption. So right here, I see the caption is right next to the key. Any bold words. I can see that there's different things in bold words. Why are those words bolded? What's the importance of that? And then the actual map itself. So Kumu Mando is going to show you how to use those text features to help you to understand what the map is all about. Then after reading is the last row. It says summarize the information using one sentence. You've done this before, but we just put the process out for you. So you use the map title, the verb, like show, explain, demonstrate, and then the last part is to briefly explain the information gathered from the text features.
Is we're taking a close look at the map with all the different map features and using that to really figure out what it's saying and showing and put that in one sentence. Okay? So we start with this map, and this part, the 13 British colonies and the 4 bullets, refers to the whole page. There are 2 maps on the page. You will read this when you're doing this in class, but you're not going to include this in your summary. You're just summarizing the map. We're going to do the one entitled 13 Colonies 1750. And what do you notice about, we already looked at the map title, what do you notice in the legend or the key? Do you see how it says regional division and then it has a darker line?
Yeah.
Yep. So let's find those darker lines on the map so we know what the regional divisions are. Do you see any dark lines?
Yeah, between Maryland and Delaware.
Between Maryland and Delaware.
And Pennsylvania.
Okay? Yeah.
Albany.
Or in Massachusetts.
Albany
Okay.
and Providence.
It's vertical. So here it is, right here. Yes?
New York side.
Okay. What? Okay. So guys, we have to look closely. We have to look at the thickness of lines on a map in order to see this. What regions are these 3 regions that are separated? Let's start here because we can see a name. What's the Little Colonies. And this is in a certain capital letter font in a certain size. Any others of those that you can see as I zoom this out a little bit?
Colonies.
We've got the Southern and New England. So we've got regional divisions shown on this map, and we've got the names of them. What else is shown? Colonial boundaries, the boundaries between the different colonies. And if I just look over here, what kind of line is between Georgia and South Carolina? No. So it's a thinner black line, right?
Yeah.
And it separates what? Separates every colony, which became a state. Yes. So that's helpful to us. We know that we're going to see each colony, right? And we've already talked about how you could find the names. So what would we say is the big thing that's being shown here? Names of colonies. Okay, so that's the second thing that this map is showing in a big way. Would you look at the dotted lines? Where do you see a dotted line?
All around.
So the west side, sometimes it's the north or south, but if you look at the whole map at once, here we go. Woo!
It's the west.
It's the west in general, yeah? The western boundary. And what did it mean according to the key?
It means indefinite.
It's indefinite.
It's indefinite. It wasn't set. The boundaries were not really clear. Okay, so let's go to the caption. This is the last place to look. Caption is right next to the map key in this case. Ready? Everybody together, go.
In 1750, few colonies had definite western boundaries. Those not blocked by other colonies continued to expand as settlers moved west into new territory.
Thank you. So, guys, in other words, as people flowed in from Britain and from Europe and filled up colonies with towns and farms and settlements, when they started running out of space, they just kept moving west. And that's what the frontier was, is the area that hadn't yet been settled by the Europeans, where Native Americans were still living relatively uninterrupted lives. There was this mountain range right along the spine of all the colonies. It was a natural barrier, okay? But people did move across it into what was called the frontier, the new land. So now have we taken a real close look at the map?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what you're going to do when you do these notes here. Regional divisions and names, colonial boundary names, and colony boundaries not clear, it moved west. Look at the bottom row on your cheat sheet here, and I want you just to follow as I write the sentence. What's the first thing we start with? We're on the title. Okay, so you're going to write this too. 13 colonies, 1750. I put it in quotes because it's the title of a map. Next comes a verb. Okay? What does this do? It shows, it explains. Let's pick a real simple word. Shows. And now we're just going to make these flow in a sentence. The regional divisions do we want to list them in the sentence?
Yes.
No.
Normally I would. It makes a longer sentence. You could just put a dash and then put, actually write out in your sentence, New England, Middle, and Southern. Okay? And another dash to go back to the sentence. What else does it show? Okay. Colonial, are we going to talk about let's just say it. Colonial boundaries and names. We're not going to list all 13 names because that would clutter the sentence. Comma. And that the
boundaries weren't clear.
which boundaries especially were not clear.
Western.
And that western boundaries were not clear. Period.